Doves, 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 doves. It's Madi-DuV-ASMR, and welcome back, or welcome to my channel. So, today I am going to be sharing with you all my February and March favorites. I totally intended on these being two separate videos, and ideally a video between them, and between this February favorites and my January favorites, but I had exams like at the beginning of March, and they had me very busy, and I couldn't film like I wanted to, and I had a video that I was gonna put out at the beginning of mid-February, and I was editing it, and I don't know, I wasn't really happy with it. I feel like I just kind of filmed it because I felt like I needed to film, and I know I don't, and I didn't post. I just wasn't happy with it. But anyways, I'm glad to be filming, and yeah, I feel like February towards the end of March, things are starting to come alive again after winter. I feel like even in February, when most things are still frozen in February, I feel like, at least where I live, the sun slowly starts coming out, and you can really tell, I feel like very rapidly, the days are getting longer, the sun is setting later and later and later and later, and it just feels like a very slow defrost, even if it isn't defrosting at all, even if it's still freezing. But yeah, I feel like the last 2 months now, crazy, have felt really nice. After winter, I feel like winter was very cold and very dark this year, and so it's been nice. But yeah, anyways, things I have been watching, listening to, reading, just generally enjoying. And since there's 2 months, instead of the format I took for my January video where I shared all the movies I watched, all the books I read, that sort of thing, I'm just gonna pick the highlights of this stuff that are a little bit of bigger categories. So I will start again with books, because I've been reading so much. I've been on spring break. It's like the last, going into the last weekend of my spring break, and I've been reading a lot. So over the last 2 months, I know I said I've been reading a lot, and I have. There were just a lot of big or very dense books. But for books not for class, there was another 2 full books that I read, or like I was pulling quotes from and then was reading passages, that sort of thing. So there were 2 full books that I read for class, and then 4 full books I read in February, March, and then I just started another book, which I have here and I'll show you, that I'm really liking so far. So I would say I'll go over all the books that I read, and then I'll share with you my favorite, and then the one I'm currently reading, which I think will be another favorite. So, the books I read were Room to Dream, which is David Lynch's memoir. First, rest in peace. For those of you who aren't familiar, he was a filmmaker. He made Twin Peaks. It's probably his, magnum opus. And movies that I'm sure even if you haven't watched or heard of, you have watched movies or TV shows or listened to music, or seen art that's been inspired by his work. So Eraserhead, Mulholland Drive, Lost Highway, there's so many. Wild at Heart, something like that. There's so many, and now I can't remember. Fire Walk with Me, obviously. Anyway, but he passed in mid-January, and I ended up picking it up, the memoir up, shortly into February, and started reading. It's really, really, really big book. It's like 550 pages or something like that. But it takes on this really interesting, like it's set up really interesting. There's kind of two narratives within the memoir. One of it is first person, written by David Lynch himself, and the other one is in third person, written by, I didn't write her name down, but someone who worked in collaboration and did like almost a biography style, so it alternates between the two. And I definitely I like David Lynch's first person perspective more. I think just the way he talks about his life is really interesting, but I did think the biography section was very informative, and there were so many things that I never knew about him that were interesting to read about. It was on my to be read list, it's been on there for the last 6-7 months, maybe longer, but obviously when he passed, I felt like it was just kind of was the catalyst for me, going to the library and getting it. So I read that, and then I read In the Dream House, which is another memoir style book by Carmen Maria Machado. That one of my really good friends loves that book, lent it to me. Then I read Eileen by Otessa Moshfegh, which I was disappointed by. I really, really, really liked my year of rest and relaxation. I liked the kind of commentary, and it felt very satirical, and I liked the main character, the protagonist in that novel is so unlikable and so pretentious and so just insufferable. And I felt like the protagonist, Eileen, the titular character, was also insufferable. But I just I don't know what was different. I just there was no, with the unnamed protagonist in my year of rest and relaxation, I kind of I loved to hate her, and I was I just tore through because I was so curious what was gonna happen. I don't know why, I just didn't really get as pulled in Eileen. It was kind of a drag through the middle, third of the book, I would say. I wasn't very invested, and it felt very slow paced, and then it was super, super fast. The last 30 pages were just crazy. But anyway, then I read The Memory Police by Yoko Ogawa. This was my favorite out of the books that I read in February and March. So this is a fiction. It's a speculative sci-fi, I would say. But it's about state surveillance and authoritarianism and the value of memory and knowledge and means of resistance to authoritarianism. But I thought it was really interesting. So it was originally written in Japanese and then translated. I believe. I'm almost 100% sure. Now I'm kind of doubting myself. maybe I'm wrong. No. Okay, translated from the Japanese by Stephen Snyder. Anyway, so this is I'll tell you just the general happenings of the book. So, the main character lives on this island that is unnamed. And I swear that the protagonist is unnamed in here as well. But objects are just disappearing. Like fruit or flowers or birds or certain food, stuff like that. And it's interesting how it's written, and I'm not going to do it justice, but there's a day where things are forgotten. So for example, like all of the roses disappear and they fall off of like the plant, and the people on the island see them. They just kind of lose like the memory of what it is. Like they lose all of the like value or like knowledge of what the thing is, and so they just watch these petals get blown into like the river and into the ocean and just drift away, and then they never see them again. Or the protagonist writes of perfume going missing, and all of a sudden they just like couldn't, like they kind of, it's hard to describe, like they just like couldn't really smell the perfume anymore. Like it lost all association. Really interesting. But yeah, and then so she's a writer, the protagonist, and she ends up hiding her editor in her house because he can remember things even after they've disappeared. And yeah, there was one section I saved because I thought it was just so beautiful. Oh, here we go. This writing, the prose was just so nice. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Alright. I liked the sound of R's voice through the makeshift speakers, like a spring bubbling up from far below me. As it traversed the long rubber tube between the two funnels, all unnecessary sounds faded away, leaving only the soft, transparent liquid of his voice. I pressed my ear against the funnel, unwilling to waste even a single drop. That one's really beautiful. It's not the one I was thinking of, though. Is it this? Oh, this has spoilers. I don't know if I can read this. Oh, let's do this, maybe. Okay, this has spoilers, so skip like 30 seconds, 45 seconds ahead if you don't want to hear spoilers. Sorry, but this is just so beautiful, I want to read. Okay. I no longer needed to fall into R's arms to descend to the hidden room. There was no need to lift the heavy trapdoor, since I was now able to slip through the narrow crack around it. In that sense, the disappearance of my body was actually a form of liberation. Still, if I was not careful, my unreliable and invisible voice might be swept away with the wind. Okay. Next up, I realize how much time I've spent already just talking about books. Okay. The next one that I just started is called Martyr, and it's written by kaveh akbar. And the reason I picked this up was Tommy Orange is the writer of There and Wandering Stars, an author I really, really like. On right here, it says, Kaveh Akbar is one of my favorite writers ever. And that hooked me. So it tells a story of this man in his mid-20s, maybe late 20s. I'm not very good, I haven't kept track yet of the dates. It tells it with dates, and I haven't been paying that much attention exactly. But yeah, and he is trying to get sober, or has gotten sober, and is like going to like different like alcoholic anonymous programs, and he's working at a hospital, and it kind of jumps with the storytelling. It's not non-linear, and it's also not strictly about him. It's all in third person, but it jumps from being pretty much like third person, not omnipotent, like just focused on Cyrus, the main character, and then it'll switch, like there's different chapters that tell stories from like his mom's life or his dad's life, or like just different conversations that he's not a part of but still have some kind of, tie to him. And they're told, more third person omnipotent, but it's really interesting. I really like it so far. I'm only like 85 pages in. But yeah, I really like it so far. I think the prose is really, really beautiful. Here, this is really cool. This is 30 pages in, and this really, like, I was already hooked. I already liked it, but this really got me. For as long as he could remember, Cypress had thought it was unimaginably strange, the body's need to recharge nightly. The way sleep happened not as a fact, like swallowing or using the bathroom, but as a faith. People pretended to be asleep, trusting eventually their pretending would morph into the real thing. It was a lie he practiced nightly, or if not a lie, at least a performance. And while performance did not necessarily void sincerity, it certainly changed it. The speech you practiced in front of the mirror was always different than the one you ended up giving. Nothing else worked this way, insisting upon pretending. You didn't sit in front of a plate of rice, pantomiming swallowing in order to take the tiny grains into your stomach. Sleep alone demanded that embarrassing recital. Yeah, I thought that was just so interesting the way it's written. Also, this is so silly, but I love like the texture on these two books. They have this almost like, I'm sure you can hear it, maybe even see it, but it's not the typical like glossy front cover. Like, it's matte, but it has more texture to it. It's really nice. It's really nice for reading. I don't know. But yeah, really like this so far. Maybe I'll do, because obviously it won't be in my next month's roundup, but I'm sure I'll talk about it elsewhere sometime. But yeah, really liking this so far. Okay, to move on from books, let's do some fun things. I've been loving anything pistachio flavored, whether that be like actual pistachios, pistachio ice cream, oh my god, very guilty pleasure, very like guilty because I hate spending the money on it, but pistachio creamer. I found it's like pistachio and oat milk creamer, like my local health food store. I spent way more money than I should have on it, and I kind of regret getting it because it's so good. And I just, yeah, it was very good. But definitely gonna be a very once in a while like little treat to purchase. But another little treat was this Sicilian pistachio spread with extra virgin olive oil. Pistacchiosa, I think is the brand. And it's made in Italy. The description says, luscious, sweet, and nutty. Enjoy over your favorite sweets, gelato, slathered on toast or pancakes or right out of the jar. Mix vigorously to amalgamate and bring out the brightness of the spread. For serving suggestions and more information, visit www.manicureready.com. But yeah, this is super yummy. It's like Nutella, kind of like, I think it tastes like the sweetness is pretty on par with the Nutella. Obviously, it's not chocolatey, but it's so like fatty, more so than I think peanut butter is. Like, if you've ever had just like hazelnut spread without chocolate, like, or like chestnut, like any like really oily nut like butter, but it's just really thick. It's so good. I made these pistachio and cardamom buns. So instead of like rolls, so instead of cinnamon rolls, you know, you have your dough and you put on butter and then you sprinkle on sugar or like brown sugar and cinnamon. I did the dough, and then I put like a good layer of this on, and then I did a mixture of like sugar and cardamom and vanilla. And yeah, they were super good. But yeah, this stuff is just delicious, delicious, delicious. If you guys have any like snacks that are pistachio flavored or have pistachios in them, let me know. Okay. Yeah, I can't wait. I have to go. Like, they don't stock this at the grocery store in my town or even like the health food store. So I have to go to the next like much bigger town, just like a little more than 30 minutes away. Not quite 45, but like I think like 35 minutes, 35, 40, and get it. So this is another treat, but it's so good, so good. Okay, then the other food item, drink item, chamomile tea. I have been drinking so much chamomile tea. I think partly because it's caffeine free, and I've been drinking a lot of tea before bed or just in the evening, and I don't want to be drinking caffeine, so I've just been doing this. But it's so floral and fragrant, and yeah, cozy. Cozy's a good word for it. Cozy chamomile. And it's just chamomile flowers, nothing else. But this is the one my dining hall stocks. It's just the Bigelow. This chamomile, cozy chamomile. recently I just got from my local health food store like just some chamomile flowers, and I've been baking with them. I made chamomile shortbread the other day. Turned out so good. It was so yummy. It's just such a good, like, I think the coziness works really well in winter, but like the floral aspect, like as you're going into spring, it's just such a good like transition flavor. Okay. Alright. Let's go for movies. So I watched a couple movies. I'm going to my letterboxd. See my journal. Here we go, my diary. Okay. So in February, I didn't watch too many movies. I watched 3. I Care a Lot, which is directed by Jay Blakeson, and it stars Rosamund Pike. I gave it 2.5 stars. It was just okay. Then I watched Nickel Boys in theaters, which is directed by Ramel Ross. This was incredible, like genuinely incredible movie. I think it should have won an Oscar. I think it was just, it was so cool. The cinematography, I don't know how many of you all are into movies or like pay attention or like movie nerds, whatever. But all of the movie is done. Most of the movie is done from like a first person perspective, alternating characters, but like first person perspective. And so, the camera moves like as if you're walking, or as you swivel, like as someone, you're looking this way, focusing, and someone says something, the camera like swivels to look at them. It was so beautiful. It didn't feel gimmicky. It was so good. Gave it 4.5 stars. And then I watched Fantastic Planet, which is animated and directed, I guess, same thing in that case, by René Laloux. It's a French movie, and I also gave it 4.5 stars. It was really cool. I was so impressed that they did it with colored pencil. It was really cool. And in the 70s. Okay, I watched a fair more amount of movies. More than almost triple. More than double, almost triple the amount of movies I did in February. So I watched Companion, which stars Sophie Thatcher. It came out this year. It came out on Valentine's Day, actually. But I gave it 2 stars. It wasn't that good. I was really disappointed. And then I watched Paprika, and that is animated and directed by Satoshi Kon. It was really good. I really liked it. I definitely want to watch more of his stuff. Why can I not think of the word? Not cinematography, not discography. I'll think of the word. Is oeuvre. I can't think of it. Anyway, silly me. Gave it 4.5 stars. Then I watched La Chimera, directed by Alice Rohrwacher. Gave it 5 stars. It was literally incredible. That was so cool, like the Orpheus and Eurydice storyline. It was so good. Then I watched I'm Still Here, which came out last year. It was also nominated for several Oscars, I believe. Saw in theater. It was incredible. Gave it 4.5. I could bump it up to 5. It was really good. Then I watched Mickey 17. Oh, I forgot. I'm Still Here is directed by Walter Salles. I don't know. Brazilian, I believe. Then Mickey 17, directed by Bong Joon-ho, who did Parasite. But I was disappointed by Mickey 17. Give it 2.5 stars. Then Little Silly Movie, I watched Bruce Almighty, which stars Jim Carrey, directed by Tom Shadyac. And I give it 2 stars. It was funny. Just isn't my type of movie, I don't know. Then I watched Heretic, which also stars Sophie Thatcher and then Hugh Grant and what's her name, Chloe East. This is directed by Scott Back and Brian Woods. Give it 2.5 stars. It was okay. Then just recently, not last night but the night before, I watched La Haine, the Hate, I believe, the Hatred. Wow, it was incredible. Like, I see what all the hype is about. It's directed by Matthew Kasovitz. Wow, just wow. It was so good. I was very, very impressed. But yeah, I think my favorites were, oh, now I feel like I have to pull it out now. I can remember. I mean, obviously you can tell by my rating, but Nickel Boys, Fantastic Planet, I'm Still Here, Lion, incredible. Really liked those ones. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to some beauty / just like personal care things. So if you can now tell, or you're not watching, I am just listening, I guess, instead. I have curly hair, and it's recommended that people with curly hair sleep with a bonnet or some sort of like protective, or like in a protective style, just so your hair doesn't get damaged as you sleep and like as you toss and turn. Like I like toss and turn a lot in my sleep. So but I hate wearing a bonnet. I don't know. I feel like it's never worked for me. My sister has curly hair, like a little bit looser curls than I have, but definitely still curly, and she wears a bonnet and she like swears by it, but I just like, I don't know, I just can't do it. I hate it. But that also means my hair gets really frizzy when I wake up. It's usually, especially kind of at the back or whatever side I'm sleeping in, it's flattened. And so I have to like redefine and kind of mess with my hair in the morning, which gets a little bit tedious sometimes. But I think I found a solution. It's just with scarves, like nice silk or otherwise silk-esque scarves. And essentially what I do is I just take my hair and I put it in a ponytail, and then I like almost, it's like when my hair is in a ponytail, I'll see if I can kind of like sort of show you. So I'm gonna do this without knocking all my wires down. So I would take my hair like this, and then I would thread, obviously tie my hair back, and then thread the scarf through so it pops up, and take it and then kind of like wrap it like around my ponytail, just to protect my hair that way. Hopefully that made sense. But then it stays put, like it's not gonna move because it's like linked in your hair, That's been working. It's really helped with a lot of the frizz. Um, and I feel like I don't get a whole lot of use out of scarves. Like, I think they're so nice. I have a couple just because I love the look, and I feel like they are some of, oftentimes, like, the most well preserved, like, vintage, not the most, but like in my experience, like, they're pretty affordable. You can find them like a lot of different places, but as far as like vintage clothing goes, they're so beautiful, and they're very versatile. But yeah, I feel like it gives me a little bit more use. This one is so nice. I love the pattern. I wish it was a little bit thicker. I would love to wear it as a top. There's a couple scarves I have that are quite wide and long, and so I can just wear it as like a bandeau top. And I wish I could, because I love the pattern of this. It's so beautiful, but alas, it's just my hair wrap. But yeah, if you're someone with curly hair who are like me, you don't like wearing a bonnet, you feel like it flattens your hair, give it a try. Maybe you'll like it, maybe you won't, who knows. Okay, then next up is purple mascara. This is the Colourpop one. I feel like it doesn't really matter which one you have. I like this one though, because it matches the purple clothes that I have. So the purple clothing I have is more like pastel-y. So if you wear like darker purple or more like mauvey, I would find a mascara like more that color, like with the colors you wear, rather than just getting this one, because I use it almost as like another aspect of my outfit. Like if I'm wearing something with purple, I'll put it just on my bottom lashes to add a pop of color, tie my face into my clothes. I usually don't go for the top lashes. I feel like it just looks really weird on me. But I like the bottom lashes, and I feel like it's just such a nice pop, almost like another accessory to your outfit. But yeah, I'm really excited going into spring and warmer weather. I have some more skirts that I haven't been able to wear in the winter, that are purple or have like little bits of purple in them, and I'll be able to match more often. I'll be able to get more and more use out of this. So yeah, I've been loving wearing that every so often. And then lastly, this is Sheep Meadow. This is a perfume by Thin Wild Mercury. So this is, I know I keep talking about like the transition from winter into spring, but this is, in my opinion, so perfect for it. So the notes are, let's start at the top, are lavender blooms and blueberry jam. And then at the heart of the fragrance is chocolate, almond, and denim. And then at the base is amorous, tonka bean absolute, and vetiver. So this is the little description. This is part of the New York 1969, something like that, I think. But this is the description. Sheep Meadow is a daydream in green pastures of bluegrass, a break from reality upon its historied lawn. Lay back on a soft blanket. The gentle fragrance of the surrounding flora dances upon your senses as you gaze at the joyful clouds dotting the expansive blue sky, tearing through the cityscape. Call to mind those who have flocked to this meadow in the name of love, hope, joy, and restoration. Read a favorite novel, enjoy a sweet picnic, doze off for a while in the peace of the meadow. In that description, it sounds very summery, but I think the richness, like the chocolate and the tonka bean, just add this like really coziness that's so nice for winter. Just like lays really close to your skin, I think. But the lavender and blueberry is like this kind of fruity floral element that I think is really nice for the warm weather. But it's been really nice, just getting me excited to lay in the grass and to lay in the sun. But I talked about it, so maybe in like May, end of year, end of 2024 favorites, or somewhere. But I talked about Thin Wild Mercury, and I had gotten like a little sample pack, and Girl of the Year was my all-time favorite, but I also really liked this one, and I was just living off the tiny sample for a while, and then I got my tax return, and I splurged a little bit, and got the little travel sized. Yeah, I have been really liking this, and it's really strong, not overwhelming, but just strong enough. Like, I feel like one spray on my wrist, and then I kind of tap it, and I bring it down my hair and on my clothes, and it's the perfect amount, honestly. Okay. I'll talk about some music and some things I've been listening to really quick, and then I'll go into miscellaneous things to end the video. Okay, so one podcast that I've been loving is Smoke Sesh. Hannah Marlene is the host. I really like her. I've been listening for like years now. I don't know, I haven't mentioned her on the channel, but I love her podcast. It's been really interesting to kind of like see her grow up and kind of, I don't know, she seems a lot more confident and a lot more sure of herself, and obviously that's from a very, very outside perspective, very separate from her life perspective, but I think she was like just trying to like find her footing during COVID, and that's when she started, and she at the time was like unemployed and just like trying to figure out what she was gonna do, and now she's planning on like quitting her current job and doing podcasting full time, and I don't know, it feels very rewarding. I feel like we kind of started my channel, our podcast at very similar times, and it's just been cool to kind of watch her grow and also feel like I'm growing up with her. I don't know, this is very nice. It feels like a big sister to just listen to, and she talks about it like advice or whatever, but I really like it. It's nice to put on when I go on a walk, or like fold my laundry or whatever, or get ready in the morning. But I really like her podcast. Okay, music. She put me on, Hannah Marlene put me on to Coco and Clair. So I really liked their song Racecar, which features Clairo. It's produced by Deaton Chris Anthony, but it's really good. It's like kind of like a fun pop song. I really like Orlando in Love by Japanese Breakfast. That was, I think, the first single from her latest album. It's like For Melancholy Brunettes and Sad Women, I think is the title, which is so cool. But that was my favorite. That album was really good. I really been liking it. And then the other album I've been liking is called Decadence by deux in French. And it's like a 80s synth pop in both French and English. I wrote down my fave songs are Sex and Trouble, and then Decadence, the titular track. And then some other albums I've really been liking. I have some vinyl to show you. Obviously, one of the most famous artists in the world right now, Chappel Roan. This is, I'm sure you're sick of hearing of her. But her album, The Rise and Fall of the Midwest Princess. Love it. My favorite songs are, this is so hard actually. Probably Picture Me. I like Coffee. Super Graphic, Ultra Modern Girl. These are probably my favorites. But someone else who I've watched go, I remember my friend showed me Pink Pony Club, like maybe like late 2020, early 2021, something like that. And then I remember when Naked in Manhattan came out, and it was like right before I went to New York City for the first time, and I listened to it in New York City. I was like, oh my god. But it's been really insane to watch her blow up, which is cool. So this album is super good. And then this is Kate Bollinger, Look at It in the Light. It's an album from like 2020-ish, maybe 2019, 2021, somewhere in there. But my favorite songs on here are Who Am I But Someone, and Look at It in the Light. She makes very like kind of ballady pop. Her voice is so soft, but so like she's such a strong singer. At the same time, it's I don't know. I really thought for the longest time she was British. Like she sings an American accent, but there was just something I was like, I think you're British, but you're singing in an American accent. She's from like Virginia or something. But she kind of reminds me of Faye Webster a little bit. I'm trying to think of like a good. Katie Kirby is another one, if you know her. The cover is so cool. I love it. The bigger looking at the smaller, and her outfit, the like lime green tights and the coco boots, and then the sleeveless like shift dress with the cutout. It's so cute. She looks so beautiful. And then the like title here is embossed. I don't know if you'd be able to see it, but it's lifted. It has such a nice texture. Look at it in the light. But yeah, I've been loving both of those. Those are also some uplifting songs that are getting me excited for spring. Okay, let's go. Let's do some more watching really quick. This is some random stuff. Watched Severance, obviously. Again, who didn't? I'm sure you're sick of hearing of it. Incredible show. Really liked it. No spoilers, obviously. But the season 2 finale, I kind of expected it, but it was just seeing it play out was a little bit heart-wrenching. But I really like the show. I think it's one of the most well-written shows that's been on television in a while. I think the casting is so good too. I feel like the acting is just incredible. The way like characters, or like the actors are able to play almost like two characters. Really cool. Anyway, then what else I've been watching? The Criterion Collections, like the is it a distribution company? The like film company Criterion. There are videos on YouTube, the Criterion Closet Picks, with different actors, directors, filmmakers, and they pick their favorite films from the films in the Criterion Closet. And just shot, you can see from like the entryway to the closet, and they just kind of like walk around and scan the shelves and pick stuff and talk about it. But some of the ones I really liked, that I saw were Mikey Madison's. I talked about watching Nora in my last video, how much I loved that. So hers was cool to watch. And then Lily Gladstone, I love her. And then she did it with Erica Tremblays, and she like wrote and directed Fancy Dance, and then Lily Gladstone starred in it. And then Ayo Edebiri. I hope I'm saying that right. Either way. Stars in the Bear, Bottoms. Hers was super funny. I mean, she's also a comedian, like, she's hilarious. So that was funny. And then, Renate Reinsva. She's a Norwegian actress. She's starred in Joachim Trier's films. A couple of them. Most notably, The Worst Person in the World. I think, also August 31st as well. But hers is really great as well. So I've been watching those primarily. Okay. Then the very last random things that I want to share with you. I have been playing so much chess. Ignore that these pieces are in a plastic bag. This is just the this is not my personal. I'm borrowing this. Like, I checked it out from my game closet on campus. I was playing with a friend, but I've mostly been playing chess online, just like on chess.com or whatever. I thought it would be cool to have some triggers with the wooden pieces because they're quite nice. His channel rather in my last favorites video, but ASMR chess still. I feel like I haven't done this in a long time where I've just watched one ASMR artist just consistently like going through all their videos, rewatching videos. It's ASMR chess. It's my favorite. And Study Queen ASMR. I think one of his friends or someone that he knows, like, featured in each other's videos every so often. But them too. I don't know. I think something about their accents as well. I believe they're Danish. But yeah, these are the pawns. Let me show you. I really like this. It's just so these are the pawns. Pawns. I'm so glad that didn't make a loud noise. They're quite simple. The pawns. Okay. And then, let's see. Oh, here's the bishop. Okay. And the knight. I think the knight looks quite like a dog, or like, reminds me of one of the Egyptian gods. The one with the dog head, but it's just the ears being so big. The proportions are weird. This is the knight. And then where's the rook? Quite similar to the pawns. The only difference, is you have a flat top. As you can see here, and they're the same height. And actually, the pawn is bigger. But this is the pawn, and this is the rook. As you can see, the only difference is the top. Okay, and then the king and queen. Here is the queen. Hello. I don't know. I can't find it. It should literally be like right in front of my face. This is nice. It's not too loud. Maybe they all look too similar. I just can't. Maybe this isn't a good ad. Just maybe I'm crazy. There it is right in front of my face. Okay, here's the queen. I'm sorry, I don't know why that took so long. Here's the queen with kind of this cone on top and then a little smaller diamond on top. And this is the king with the same kind of cone and some extra layers and then more of a upside down ice cream scoop on his crown. But yeah, so I've been playing a lot of chess, been learning some openings and whatnot. My ELO, my score on chess.com is still not very high, but I'm proud I'm learning. It's a new hobby of mine, so it's been fun. And then what else? Honestly, anything that has been able to get me moving when it's too cold to go outside, even when I don't even want to like walk the like 5 minutes to class. I gotta get in my movement somewhere, so I mean this is not a new thing by any means. I've been doing it for years, but rock climbing, and also I just love the gym I go to. I feel like I have such a strong immunity there. But I feel like it's really important to have like, I mean it really is like a third space. It's not work, it's not school, it's just a place that my hobby is like not only takes place at, but like it's a place centered and focused around my hobby and other people's hobbies, and I can meet new people and you already have at least, you know, that thing in common. It's very easy to talk about and start conversation with new people about. But also, like I said, being able to move my body and just like do something for a couple hours that isn't just like sitting reading in bed or just like being inside. Feels very nice to do. But I think that's all I had. I wrote some stuff down in a little notebook, and then I had some stuff to the side, my objects. But I think that's everything. I will see you soon. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. I hope that you have a very good rest of your day or night, whenever you may be watching this. And if you're watching this to fall asleep, I hope you sleep very, very, very well. And if you're watching this during